Hey everyone, my name is Tim Dexter, co-owner of Dexterity Depot, and welcome to the first ever Dexterity tutorial. On this one, we're going to be going over the Kong Vault. The Kong Vault, also known as the Catpass, is one of the most important, if not the most important vault in parkour. Because it's a very foundational movement that leads to a lot more advanced skills in parkour, such as the dive Kong, the double Kong, a Kong to cat leap, a Kong to precision jump, a Kong front flip, and many more. The Kong Vault is awesome. I can talk about Kong Vaults all day. It's like the coolest vault in the world. So before we can jump into our first progression, it's important to go over the obstacle that we're going to be vaulting over. So if you don't have a nice salt vault box like we do here at Dexterity Depot, that's completely okay. You can use whatever you find outside, whether it's a picnic table, a wall, something at a local park. It doesn't much matter, but it's really important that you make sure that you test your surfaces before you do any sort of jumping or vaulting in parkour, just to get a feel for it, to make sure your hands don't slip, and also to make sure that the obstacle doesn't break or anything like that. Generally, you want something that is hip height. However, for beginners, I'd recommend something even a little bit lower, perhaps at knee height. Now that we have tested our surface and made sure it's safe, we can move on to our first progression. For this one, all that you need is a flat surface of any kind, whether it's grass, carpet, doesn't really matter. This one is called the ground Kong, also known as monkey QM. So we're first going to start by squatting down. From here, we're going to place our hands right in front of our body in a nice, comfortable position. Then we're going to jump and place our feet right in between our hands, like that, okay? Now, that's the first very basic progression. From there, what you're gonna do is the same exact thing. However, when you jump, you wanna pull your hands back behind your body so you land on your feet and your hands are off the ground. So now that you have mastered the ground Kong, before we move on to our next progression, I first want to go over the different types of takeoffs for the Kong Vault, because by doing that, it's going to make it easier for you to do the full vault and also for the next progression as well. So the first takeoff we're going to cover is known as the punch. So what you're going to do is you're going to run, jump off 1 foot, land on 2 feet, and then punch off the ground as hard as you can as you enter the vault. So make sure that when you're punching, you punch from the balls of your feet and not flat-footed, because that's better on your body. I find that this one is the easiest for beginners as they're learning this movement. The next one is the 1 foot takeoff. For this one, you're going to run, and as you're running, you're going to jump off your front leg or your lead leg and swing your back leg up as high as you can in order to get your hips up. I find that this one is probably the least practical, but it's still good to learn. So last, but definitely not least, is the plyo, gather step, gallop, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. This one is definitely the most important, but it can be a little confusing for beginners. So to start, we're going to go step, 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 and then explode off 2 feet as hard as we can. I'd recommend starting with the flat surface just to get a feel for it before you add it into the vault and the next progression. So just a quick recap on takeoffs for the Kong Vault. We have the punch, the plyo, and the 1 foot. I'd recommend learning all 3, but I will say that the punch is going to be the easiest for beginners to learn. But with that being said, the plyo is by far the most important because it's how you generate a lot of power into your Kong Vault. Alright, so now you've mastered the ground Kong and you have a better understanding of the different takeoffs for the Kong Vault. So we can finally move on to our next progression, which is the Kong Up. I'll give you a quick demonstration and then I'll break it down for you. The cool thing about the Kong Up is that you can do it literally anywhere. It can be on a curb, a random wall you find outside, a couch in your house. It doesn't really matter. So to start, doing the same exact thing you did for the ground Kong, you're going to run, jump, place your hands on the box, and then push down as hard as you can and try to land your feet on top of the wall. Now, some things to keep in mind, you do not want to keep your hands on the box. I repeat, you do not want to keep your hands on the box, because if you do that during the vault, you're going to clip your toes and fall on your face. So while you're practicing the Kong Up, you want to make sure that you're actually pushing down with your hands. You don't just want to tap it and jump up with your feet, because that ruins the purpose of the vault, okay? So make sure you're actually pushing down on the box as you're doing the Kong Up. Keep practicing that until it feels really easy. So once the Kong Up feels really easy for you, you then can move on to the next progression. It's the exact same thing, except rather than just landing your feet on top of the box, you're gonna tap them and land on the other side. So keep practicing that. Once that feels easy, you then can move on to the next one. Again, it's the exact same thing, but rather than tapping 2 feet, you're gonna tap 1 foot. All right, everyone, so you've mastered all those progressions, and now it's time to try the full vault. So some key things to keep in mind to help you through it. You wanna make sure that you get your hips up as high as you can. You wanna make sure that as you're coming into the vault, you squat down and bring your arms back. Then you're going to swing your arms forward as you jump and take off the ground. You wanna make sure that you're not taking off too close to the box, as that's gonna make it more difficult. When I'm coaching this vault, 2 of the most common mistakes that I see are number 1, while the person's doing the vault, they leave both hands on the box for too long. And number 2 is that they leave 1 hand on the box during the exit of the vault. So to avoid those mistakes, really make sure that you pull the box behind you as you're going through the vault. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it helpful. If you're interested in learning more parkour and Ninja Warrior skills, we offer classes Monday through Thursday right here at the Depot. Be sure to head over to our website, dexteritydepot.com, for more information. Thanks, everyone.